Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Poppin' and Steve. About to react to this vid by Tub. It's titled Hackers Who Ruin People's Lives. These hackers are ruthless. It's really messed up to expose people when they're just minding their business and ruin their lives. But that's why you gotta be careful out there, y'all, especially if you're a popular person of any sort. If you are a celebrity or even if you just stream and you got over a few thousand followers, protect yourself. Don't keep no naked pictures of yourself on your phone. Don't have any damaging things on your computer. Don't be into no weird shit. You shouldn't be into no weird shit anyway. But yeah, you're gonna get exposed eventually if you ain't living your life right. So live your life right. I've deleted all my videos after that whole Overtime Megan situation, which is the first person he's gonna talk about in this video. I deleted everything. I have nothing. So if you hack, you ain't finding shit but a whole bunch of selfies. Random ass variations of selfies that are on my Instagram. So anyway, let's see these hackers though who ruin people. Let's watch. I'm skipping the Overtime Megan situation because I did a whole video on that, so you can check it out if you're interested. It's regarding her nudes being leaked.
Matt Honan. On August 4th, 2012, Matt Honan, who was then a writer for the popular tech website Gizmodo, had this tweet show up on his Twitter account. He had been hacked, and there was little he could do to salvage the situation. The hackers, Clan VV3 and Phobia, had gotten into his digital accounts and wreaked havoc. In a series of steps, they had deleted his Google account, got it into his Apple ID account, and used it to wipe clean his iPhone, iPad, and MacBook. They then got into his Twitter account and started broadcasting racist and homophobic messages. What's even more bizarre is that this all happened in the matter of an hour. The hack, of course, left him devastated because he lost a lot. More than a year's worth of his daughter's pictures, 8 years of important emails, photos of loved ones who had passed on, and critical documents. According to him, losing photos of his little girl was the greatest tragedy in all of this. So, what exactly happened? Well, according to an article that Matt Honan wrote for Wire.com, there were several steps involved. First, after doing some background research on him, the hackers figured out that Matt had a Gmail account whose recovery address was mhonan@me.com, and they took advantage that his Gmail didn't have two-factor authentication. So,
always have two-factor authentication. I got it on everything now. Always activated.
The hackers, Phobia, simply went to the Gmail account recovery page and put in Matt's Gmail address, and he could see the alternate email set up for account recovery. Seeing the me.com email, the hackers knew they could get in easily. Next, the hackers called Apple and pretended to be Matt trying to recover his email account after forgetting the password. To do this, they needed Matt's billing address and the last 4 digits of his credit card. They went looking. They got the billing address by inputting Matt's personal website, www.honan.net, into the Whois domain search database. For the credit card digits, the process was a little more involving. First off, the hackers called Amazon pretending to be Matt wanting to add a new credit card to his account. To allow this, Amazon requested for the name on the account, an email address, and the billing address. Of course, the hacker had all of this and stated the new card information, and it was added. And they hang up immediately. Then they called back immediately and said they lost access to the account. The goal here was to be allowed to add a new email address to Matt's Amazon account. Amazon asked for a name, billing address, and the credit card number, the one that they just added. For providing this, they were allowed to add the new email address. From here, they simply reset the password, logged in, and accessed information on other credit cards attached to the account. So far, they had Matt's full name, his billing address, and the last 4 digits of his real credit card. At 4:33 p.m., the hackers then placed a call to Apple's tech support again, pretending to be Matt and unable to access their @me.com email. Apple asked for their billing address and the last 4 digits of their credit card, and voila, they were issued with a temporary password. By 4:50 p.m., they had reset the password to his email. Then at 4:52, they reset the Gmail account password. And at 5:02 p.m., they reset his Twitter password. Also, now that they had access to his iCloud, they actually used the Find My iPhone tool to wipe his phone remotely at around 5:02 p.m. Then, to prevent him from taking back access, they wiped his iPad at 5:01 p.m. and his MacBook at 5:05 p.m. Now, you might wonder, where was Matt the entire time his devices were getting hacked? He says he actually realized something was wrong at around 5 p.m. while playing with his daughter. Suddenly, his iPhone powered down. He didn't think too much of it and tried to plug it into a charger, but then it rebooted to the setup screen. He went to his MacBook to try to restore the iPhone's backup, but then a message came up saying his Gmail info was wrong, and the computer asked for a 4-digit PIN. Since he never had a PIN for his MacBook, he knew something was wrong instantly, which caused them to call Apple at around 5:10 p.m. Unfortunately, by this time, the hackers were already done, and 2 minutes later, at 5:12 p.m., they posted the damning tweet on his account. In an interesting turn of events, one of the hackers, Phobia, reached out to Matt and explained how they had done the whole thing.
Wow.
And what was their end goal? It was Matt's Twitter handle. You guys know the craze for 3-letter usernames, right? 4-letter usernames. So basically they wanted to hack into his account and flip it and sell it for more money. Some Twitter and Instagram usernames actually sell for upwards of $50,000. Anyway,
What?
Phobia and his accomplices took about an hour to ruin his social life and turn it upside down. It just really is interesting how these hackers took about
For the Twitter
an hour
handle?
to wipe his devices clean just to get a 3-letter username.
That
Gary
is
Berman.
fucking sad.
Gary Berman's story is pretty insane because it shows how much damage a really competent hacker can cause to a small company.
Who paid
While doing a
$50,000?
podcast interview for Cybersecurity Dispatch, Berman narrated how he ended up closing down his company because he got hacked and clients were being stolen and redirected as he watched. This happened around 2003 when most people weren't aware of the online world, let alone having the skills to navigate it properly. Berman ran a small telecommunications company that had clients like AT&T, Coca-Cola, and Procter & Gamble. He was doing well and even sold a 49% stake in this company to WPP Group, a really large, globally acclaimed communications firm. Now, the problem started when he stepped away from the firm for about 6 months due to a knee injury. During this time, sales began to decline, and he thought it was because he was away. But he just didn't know that he had been hacked, both digitally and operation-wise. Turns out that 2 insiders were working with a brilliant programmer to steal clients and tarnish the firm's reputation. The programmer had cloned the entire company's website and created a server that acted as a middleman in all the communications going in and out of the company. Any phone call that would come in, for instance, would get redirected to their cloned company. Also, physically in the office, the insiders were working on projects under Berman's name without him even knowing it. Anyway, one of the bizarre moments he recalls is when a client called about a PowerPoint presentation of capabilities that Berman had apparently sent her. She said, "Isn't this from your company?" And as he looked over, he realized his juniors were trading deals in secret. Also, the sabotage included a scenario where the hackers sent a PowerPoint presentation pitching for work and signed off with an expletive. Instead of ending with, quote, "thank you," the hackers changed it to "fuck." Berman ended up losing the $400,000 contract he was trying to pitch for. This meddling was also possible as his home computer had been hacked via the internet-connected printer, and the hackers were freely messing with his files. They also did other annoying things like changing his Facebook profile picture and altering text that his daughter was sending to him. Of course, he noticed these changes, but no one at home believed him, not even his wife. He said, "My wife and brother thought I had lost my mind. They scheduled an appointment with a psychiatrist for me. He, however, gathered enough evidence and called a professional cybersecurity firm, and only then did he discover that not only was his computer hacked, but his phone and email addresses were compromised too. The firm installed a firewall, fixed his passwords, and got his control back. At his company, he called in a forensic firm that helped gather evidence that an attorney would use to sue the employees involved. However, he never pursued the case, and says that that decision was a $1 million mistake. Apparently, after meeting with his wife, the attorney, and the culprits, he decided to drop the case. Together with his wife, considering their daughter had special needs, they felt they didn't want to put bad karma into the world. He also tried to keep the company going, but the debt and the reputation had taken things down a dark path. He ended up depleting his personal savings and eventually closing down the firm. It seems the hacking did in fact ruin his life at that point. The upside is that he began a very successful career in cybersecurity. Rick Thomas. Have you ever heard of Ashley Madison? Well, hold on tight, because in this story, you'll learn how this very popular dating and social networking site got hacked.
Is this that cheating shit?
Of many married men. As already mentioned, Ashley Madison is a dating and social networking site. It's based in Canada, but available in many markets, including the US. And no, it's not like Tinder, it's worse. For example, the first thing you'll notice on their website is the brand tagline, "Life is short,
This is
have unfair."
so
They literally offer
trifling.
an opportunity for people to cheat.
I remember
on their
hearing
partners
about this a long
discreetly,
time
and
ago.
while at it, they have very convincing descriptions of their service. For example, the statement, "Did you know infidelity is emotional while adultery is physical?" And meeting someone at work or friends is too risky when discretion is your #1 concern, and the old taboos are frowned upon. All these are right on their homepage. Now that you know what the company's about, let's move on to the hack. Back in August of 2015, Ashley Madison got breached. The hackers put out personal information of about 32 million people that had signed up for the service. These details included names, emails, and physical addresses. This data was contained in a 9.7 gigabyte sized file that was posted on the dark web using an Onion address accessible via Tor browser. Worse still, the data also contained the login details of all the site users. Also, the hackers got hold of millions of credit card transactions done on the site going as far back as 2008. And there's even more. The data had descriptions of what members were seeking from the sites. For example, I'm looking for someone who isn't happy at home or just bored looking for some excitement. Now, with all this data being leaked, you can probably imagine the havoc that it caused, especially with the partners of those people, and one such man is Rick Thomas, a married man that joined the site at age 56.
Sorry, I feel sorry for whatever happened.
For 19
You're
years. He said that after he turned 56, he simply got a bad case of hives. He said, call it a midlife crisis, poor judgment, or a cheater's heart. Whatever it was, I easily found fault in my marriage. Intimacy was long gone.
What?
Simply put, his life was boring and he was looking for excitement. He saw an online ad and signed up for Ashley Madison. Then, just a couple of weeks later, he saw news about the hack. Soon after, he started getting emails from a hacker named Mr. X, who was demanding $1,000 in Bitcoin payment, or he would expose Rick to his family and friends. Rick refused to pay the money and instead thought it was easier to come clean with his wife. He did so, and while trying to convince his wife that he loved her, she walked right out the front door. Though she didn't leave him for good. Rather, she turned up in the morning and advised him to seek the services of a marriage counselor. It's anyone's guess where she went that night, and it seems that their marriage did survive, but with a crazy big scar. Given that 86% of the members on the website were men, obviously not everyone got back together with their wife. I don't even know why she got back together with him. I guess the 19 years being together, whatever.
No.
But I think it's a safe bet to say that those hackers ruined a bunch of marriages. Though it wasn't really the hackers, it was the men themselves.
Exactly.
But you could say the hackers did a really good thing here. Yeah, that's just a really interesting story on the list.
They're doing the Lord's work.
Let's move on to the next one. Dr. Craig Wright. This next hack takes us into the heart of cryptocurrency. This is one of those cases where a hack has a chain reaction that causes havoc in other people's lives. In this case, the lives of several crypto developers. First, let's go over the hack. On Saturday, February 8th, 2020, Dr. Craig Wright, a very well-known figure in the crypto world, saw 3 transactions transferring Bitcoin out of a wallet. 2 of these transactions were substantial. This was alarming because first, he stored his private wallet keys in his home computer in Surrey, England. And second, his computer had confidential information relating to 2 other digital wallets containing roughly $4 billion. These other 2 digital assets are a pretty important part of the story, so let's briefly cover them. What are they? Well, they are 2 Bitcoin addresses, one fee X and 12IB7. They were held under Dr. Wright's company, Tulip Trading, and contained about 111,000 Bitcoin, worth approximately $4 billion as of 2021. While the origin of these many coins is a debated issue, Dr. Wright insists he bought them as an investment as far back as 2011. Now, having these valuable assets in one's possession, it's very easy to understand why Dr. Wright kept access to them stored locally on his computer. This is a smart move in the crypto space because it's almost impossible to hack an offline computer in your home. In this case, he stored the keys in encrypted files, which were inside a password-protected RAR file. He even used something called algorithmic masking as an added layer of protection. Still, hackers got into it and took off with the RAR file, 37 gigabytes of other files, about 50 white papers, 1.1 million pounds of Bitcoin SV, and 0.333 Bitcoin. Now, if you understand how crypto works, then you know that if someone steals something like a flash drive and it has your wallet key, then you're fucked because you lose access to whatever was in your wallet. This is why Dr. Wright's hack was really bad, because when the RAR file was stolen, he lost access to the 1FX and 12IP7 addresses, and hence his $4 billion. Immediately after the hack, he notified the police. While there's no definitive answer as to how the hackers got in, Dr. Wright believes they did so via a wireless router that was mysteriously planted in his home. He said, I believe it must have been planted there by the hackers, either when tradesmen were in our home or by breaking in. Now, you may be tempted to think that Dr. Wright's life was ruined by the hackers, but you would be wrong. Losing 111,000 Bitcoin is nothing to a man who owns about 1.1 million Bitcoin in total. The people whose lives got rocked are the developers of popular crypto platforms. As I said in the beginning, it's a destructive chain reaction. Why? Well, when Dr. Wright lost his assets, he began legal action against the developers of these wallets to make them recover his stolen access. On May of 2021, the High Court of London approved his case against the developers behind Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, and Bitcoin Cash ABC. A funny fact here is that he included BSV in the lawsuit, despite it being a company that he started back in 2017. Anyway, the case was dismissed on March 2022, but Dr. Wright appealed the decision, and the Court of Appeal granted him his wish, getting the case on track to a trial that will be held in early 2024. In his lawsuit, he's demanding that his developers create a backdoor to the Bitcoin Core blockchain to reimburse him for his stolen coins and return access to the wallets. While this is impossible from a technical point of view, view, the bigger problem the developers are facing is that if the court rules in Dr. Wright's favor, they'll be forced to have a fiduciary duty to their users going forward. This simply means that a crypto software developer could be held liable for damages experienced by someone else who used their product in a different country other than the US. This liability would arise from the fact that the developer contributed to an open source project. The lawyer defending these developers, Jessica Jones of Bitcoin Legal Defense Fund, said they are volunteering their time to work on public infrastructure. They're doing it for free. They're adding it under MIT license, which is supposed to protect them from things like this. As it stands, all involved parties are waiting for trial. But what do you think based on the facts? Is Dr. Wright ruining the lives of open source developers in the crypto world? Hey guys, thank you so much for watching.
Damn, the crypto space been taking L's in one way or another, left and right. It's just been back-to-back shit. Lord. But yeah, this is fucked up. This is really fucked up to hack people's shit, steal their money, expose them, except the cheaters. I don't feel sorry for them at all. But you know, the guy who lost pictures of his child, and they did all of that to ruin his online presence just because they wanted the handle. What? Niggas need lives. This is sad. Y'all let me know what y'all think though. Let me know what other videos you want to watch, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye!